We're gonna give you a little bit of overview of OCFSN. So there's some questions. We heard at the convening, lots of new folks in the network. What is OCFSN? How does our network work? And so we wanted to make sure we gave you all some background so we were all better informed to work together through this structure that we've created over the years. So we're going to give you a bit of a history of OCFSN. We're going to talk about what we do. We're going to share our governance and the bylaws briefly to talk about what we use as staff and leadership and board to guide the work of the network and what outlines responsibilities of members and these things. We'll talk about how we're structured with our membership and leadership entities and then the working groups. We'll give a brief, share a brief little bit about over the last 3 years since we've been a nonprofit, how OCFSN has been funded. And then we'll share how to be engaged with the network, what you do, how you get yourself connected to this collective work. So let's jump through it. We're a little over time, so I'm going to be talking pretty quickly. We're going to share these slides, and we're going to have this recording available so folks can go back if you missed something. So 2012 to 2017, before Shin and Mai's time, you all, many of you, were engaged in creating the network. This started as a series of convenings funded by Meyer Memorial Trust. And during this time period, 34 founding members affirmed the proposal to establish the priority areas for Veggie RX, Snap Match, wholesale market development, and access to land, which has changed over time. And then we started getting more refined. Working groups started to get developed. There's some money came in for double up food bucks during this time, both earlier 2012 and 2017, and then in the 2018, 2019 period. So the network is getting refined and getting some access to resources and funding for some of the specific priorities. And then in 2020, more funding secured for program expansion with Double Up Food Bucks and the Beginning Farmer and Rancher Working Group secured some funding. And then in the big start to the refinement of OCFSN 2021, more funding, new working group combining Beginning Farmer and Rancher and access to land, food hub working groups developed, and then we applied for and got our 501c3 status in 2020, applied in 2021, got it in 2022, and hired the first two staff. We're still here, Shin and I, and that's our roles have developed and changed over these years. And we got our first 1.5 million. Yeah, good. Thank you for clarification on that, Lauren, on when the working group Food Hub was created in 2018 and then refined in 2021. We got our first state funding for 1.5 million in disaster relief funding. It says resilience here is actually disaster relief funding in 2022, and then 2023 to 2025. We held our first in-person convening in November of 2025, back after the pandemic. All came together in person across the network. Secured 2.65 million for farmer and rancher disaster resilience funding, 1.5 for food hub worker safety and infrastructure. Developed the HRSN Learning Collaborative through Veggie RX. Incorporated a new working group and brought in the Oregon Farm to Institution Collaborative. These are just some of the top level things. There's a lot more that's happened over those years, but that's kind of the trajectory. Health related social needs. Thanks, Sarah, for HRSN. What do? We're dedicated to strengthening local and regional food systems to deliver better economic and social health and environmental outcomes across the state. This is kind of our current mission and vision. And we do this through convening folks. We host working groups on these specific areas. We'll go into detail on what our current working groups are. And we support collaborative projects that come out of the working groups. All right. We'll go into a little bit of governance. So earlier on, we've had some, OCFSN has had some informal bylaws, informal guides of how we work together. But in 2022, when we were officially recognized as a 501c3, we have official bylaws that detail OCFSN's organizational structure, how leadership team and board are elected, how new members are brought on, the responsibilities of members, the role, your responsibility to reaffirm your engagement and membership in OCFSN annually. And yeah, we wanted to highlight that and give you an opportunity to look. We had our first bylaws amendment this year, changing a little bit of how the board is made up, and that's been detailed in recent newsletters. So yeah, this is how us as staff and how the leadership team we could go back to this document a lot to make sure that we're following the intent behind the bylaws, which is to give OCFSN members as much influence and responsibilities over how OCFSN is managed as possible. And we have Penny here, who's on the leadership team, who also serves on the bylaws committee, and just wanted to give her a chance to share what she's learned and what the value is of being engaged in the governance of OCFSN as she's learned and supported the network.
Thanks, Andrew. So I joined the leadership team in 2025 and made sure to join the bylaws committee just because going through the document sort of helped me to better understand how OCFSN was meant to function and what the role of the leadership team was. Having worked with that committee and gone through the bylaws, it's been a really excellent way of understanding how the organization has changed over time, and how these guiding these guiding bylaws poise it to effectively step into its new role.
Thanks, Penny. Yeah, it's definitely these bylaws were created and OCFSN has grown and developed significantly since they were developed. So we are leaning into through the strategic planning process and then some future review of bylaws to further refine how to best manage this organization with memberships at heart. Good question, Anne. Selk is awesome. We'd love to look at that. Tempo has been sporadic currently, and I think our goal is to be more active in refining and developing the bylaws to be as reflective of how we'd like to work together. So I'll definitely look at that resource. Thank you. OCFSN is unique. Most nonprofits have a board of directors. OCFSN has a leadership team and a board of directors, which has its benefits. It gives membership who elects leadership team more say, but also creates complications. This is a document, a graphic we put together a year or so ago that kind of shows the complexity of how OCFSN is managed. We have the leadership team voted in by the membership. Leadership team then votes for our board, and then who are the legal responsible entity for managing OCFSN by the rules of 501c3s. We have all sorts of committees, co-chairs, executive committee, and then Shin as our executive director and myself as associate director support board and leadership and also manage the working groups and working group chairs. So yeah, that's how we operate. And core to OCFSN is membership. And membership has some specific who can be members is written specifically out clearly in the bylaws, and responsibilities of members is written out. So for membership, OCFSN, grassroots and nonprofit organizations that focus on farm and food work are eligible for membership. Regional and statewide organizations working on farm and food issues, government entities involved in food systems planning and development, national organizations with farm and food programming and staff in Oregon are also eligible for membership. We have a business affiliate program for folks who have for-profit entities that would like to be a member of OCFSN. They, however, according to our bylaws, do not have the right to vote. Business members don't have the right to vote for OCFSN. So that's something I think we've heard really clearly coming from folks at like the Food Hub Network, that some deeper dive into business membership beyond just affiliate members is something that folks would like to see. So we've heard that loud and clear, and that's something we we'll make sure to involve in the bylaws in the future amendments. So members, what are you expected to do as a member? Members are new members apply, and then the full membership votes to approve with a majority vote for new members. Members every year are asked to reconfirm or confirm their membership and designate their voting rep. In the bylaws, you're expected to participate in our working groups. You're expected to collaborate with folks in the working groups, participate in our events and convenings, provide data to support OCFSN's network-wide research and evaluation of the work that we're all doing, and provide input like you're doing today on our strategic planning. So that's the expectation of members. We have intentionally, as leadership and staff, really kept the door open to working groups, to folks who aren't official members. I think it has provided added benefit to the work that folks are doing for individuals, farmers, these food hubs, folks that aren't official members, to be involved in the work. And so that's something that we, I think, will continue to do. We currently have around 40 members who have renewed. Thank you everyone for doing that. Please, we've sent emails to folks who are in need of renewal. Please do so. And we also will be voting in some new members that have come in over the last 6 months or so. We'll be doing a vote throughout the membership for new members. We've got a lot of interest during the convening, so we'll get broaden our scope of membership, which is really great. That's really what is the heart and soul of OCFSN and how we are successful. And then we're located all over the state. This is just a quick look at where the yellow dots are members, blues are food hubs, and purple is staff and leadership. So we're really all over the state, representing food systems, organizations, and interests. Then membership votes in our leadership team, who then vote in the board. This is a quote directly out of our bylaws, that leadership team has the broad powers and decision-making authority subject to board oversight and duty to ensure the organization is serving charitable and educational purposes. Really, the leadership team and then the board are the entity that you all bring in to guide the work of OCFSN. We meet, the leadership team and the board have a different meeting schedule. Next slide, please. Leadership team meets they have 3-year terms and 2-term maximum. We meet monthly and staff puts together staff reports and provides details on all the work that's happening across the working groups and funding and all these budgeting. We just are in our budgeting process right now for 2026, wrapping that up. And the leadership team has these responsibilities that are outlined in the bylaws. And the board similarly has a 3-year term, 2-term maximum, and meets every other month currently, and has those specific responsibilities. Some of the things of note are that the leadership team elects the members of our board of directors, and then also elect the chair and vice chair. And then the board elects their own board officers, who then the board officers, president, secretary, and treasurer, and the 2 vice chairs serve as OCFSN's executive committee, which is the entity that's responsible for managing the organization with staff through between meetings, and is the entity that is the one that votes and approves our annual budget. So we have one of our co-chairs, Delaney, who we asked to share a little bit about her experience serving on OCFSN's leadership team. And if we did this at the beginning, but this is our leadership team. Folks can raise your hand again if you're here. And yeah, Delaney, want to share a little bit on what it's been like helping lead OCFSN during this growth and refinement period?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Hey, everybody. I also joined last year with Penny, so it's been a new experience for me. I'm down in Klamath Falls, so pretty rural out here, and that's one of the main reasons I wanted to join, was just to be able to get more involved in this work outside of, I work for the Food Hub down here, so I'm really plugged into that world, but not as much to the other working groups. So it's been really cool to see what else OCFSN is doing outside of the world I work in, and just connect with people that I might not be able to connect with on a daily basis. And it's been, yeah, great to see the vision for this organization, and I'm excited to see where the strategic planning goes. But yeah, here's our leadership team on the screen. If you're in the meeting, just raise your hand or wave on screen. We've got Rihanna from Cultivate Oregon. We've got Natalie from Friends of Family Farmers. Penny from Coast Fork Willamette Watershed Council. We've got Lindsay from the Oregon Food Bank. Allison from Rogue Valley Food System Network. Lauren from Oregon State University, Center for Small Farms, and Jason from Growing Gardens. So yeah, that's our team.
Thank you, Delaney. Yeah, so the leadership team essential for guiding the work of the network, ensuring that we are living up to our mission. And yeah, just a huge appreciation to those folks for the time they put in. It's not insignificant. There's our board is next. This is the entity that is responsible for ensuring that OCFSN is following the rules. Sarah with NEOEDD, Lisa, Carolina, Gabriel, and Trang. And so, yeah, raise your hands if you're here. And again, thank you. This is a big responsibility being on a board, especially for such a large network across the state. Sarah. Okay, sorry, you raise your hand. That's what I asked you to do. Sorry. That's funny. And then staff. Yeah, and so we do annual elections for leadership team and board. We've got some. Thank you for those folks who have applied at the convening, and later this year we're going to be doing those elections in March around the new members and everything. So yes, it's essential for that engagement for OCFSN to be responsive and successful in our food systems work across the state. So next comes our working groups. We're going to spend a whole bunch of time with different folks who work in the working group space in a bit, but that's the next level in the network of how folks engage. So members get involved in working groups, specific issue areas to push forward collective projects, issues, policy, all that stuff. So engage. Please be engaged as a member if you are, and vote on leadership team and new members. Connect your network to OCFSN. If you got folks who you think would be interested, connect them to Shin and I. We'll get them involved. Join our listservs. We have that on our website. There's all sorts of listservs for all the working groups, our general community listserv, our newsletter. Lots of ways to keep informed about the work that's happening. Working group listservs are used by members and share out all sorts of events and opportunities, funding opportunities, collaborations, all that stuff. It's a great place for folks to stay connected, attend our convenings, and then engage in our strategic planning, which Terrasoma is working on right now. And our timeline for that in the next slide is we've been going through like the discovery phase. We're moving into the strategic planning phase where we're putting together the mission and vision and values. First, we have a final draft of our taking stock brief that many of you have reviewed. We're going to be drafting the plan and then get that finalized and approved by June with a lot of iterative review from you all to refine it. And that's really exciting. It's going to be a much more detailed and informative plan for us as staff and leadership to guide the work of OCFSN moving forward. We're really looking forward to having that as a developing organization. Okay, I'm going as quick as I can to make sure we give the working group folks time. Lastly, we've heard questions. How is OCFSN funded? So I put these together quickly yesterday. You know, OCFSN is unique in an organization that most of us, it's a braided funding. It's a collaborative funding through many different pathways through the working groups and collaborative projects to keep OCFSN moving forward. I have a table here for 2023 because we had such a large amount of income coming in from the state grants for disaster resilience and food hubs that if it was in a table or in the pie chart format, it just was all one color and a little sliver in the other. So, you know, it was really 2023. We really started refining our systems. We got that funding. It really kick-started OCFSN. And you can see some of these business contributions, foundation grants are a little lower in 2023 that we've been developing through working group projects and connections. And we've been income-wise around $300,000 from the last couple of years, 2024 and 2025. And as we've been working through these grant programs that have been part of that. So I didn't include that as in those two pie charts. But yeah, foundations like Roundhouse Foundation has been very supportive of OCFSN. Crafts Center for Resilient Agriculture and Food Systems at OSU has been very supportive of OCFSN. The VeggieRx working group has been getting funding through coordinated care organizations to do their HRSN learning collaborative. Food Hub has been getting funding from multiple sources, Regional Food Business Center. It's a lot of these different components of the food system in Oregon and what people are working on and excited about in the working groups that make the entity itself, OCFSN, funded and functioning to support and serve you all. That's what I got. Thanks for keeping with me on that. And then Shin's going to share a little bit about what we do to amplify and connect your work. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Andrew. Also, please stay hydrated.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, what Shin and I are both dealing with losing our voices, so thank you.
So OCFN's role as a network space really means that, we've focused on holding space for different groups from all different parts of the state to gather, to share information, and to really seek out different ways to weave together our work. So, we spend a lot of time, Andrew and I, staying up to date with different state agencies like ODA, NRCS, and Oregon Health Authority, and others who are at the intersection of local food systems and the importance of health and resilience to our collective communities. And since everything's so connected and everyone's impacted by it, and everyone and all of our work impacts the broader system, when it makes sense, we also act as the main applicant or partner on funding opportunities. For example, like Andrew mentioned, the health-related service needs, nutrition benefits learning collaborative, and you'll also hear about some other specific examples during the working group presentations. And just to share a few key projects from this past year, when you see that there's so much state funding, the majority of that really goes back out directly to farmers and ranchers, as well as food hubs, in investing in disaster resilience projects across the state, as well as worker safety and infrastructure grants. We also prioritize bringing everybody back together again for the first time since 2019 and hosted the full network convening and also our 10-year anniversary as a formalized network this past November. And, since our structure and has changed so much over, even just the past 5 years, that's also one of the reasons why we now are taking a look again at updating our strategic plan, which all of you have been a part of, and then continuing with the different working group projects as they arise, because we do try to be really responsive to what each of the working groups are needing and wanting to prioritize.